Alkahest is an action-adventure RPG set in a medieval world that takes a few cues from Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. And for those of you in the know, that means a few things: physics-based combat, interactive environments, and a lot of fun. This sort of game is all about the gameplay, not just killing your enemies, but figuring out all of the ridiculous and creative ways that you can do that. Kicking them off cliffs, knocking down trees into them, setting them on fire. Sounds a bit sadistic, and it kind of is, to be honest, but it looks like Alkahest is really trying to do it right. There have been a few games that have done this style over the years, and usually they don't quite get there, which I'm sure is pretty frustrating for fans of Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. But much like you, I'm willing to give another game a shot, and Alkahest is showing a lot of promise. It does have some key differences, so let's go over a few of those. One of the more interesting things that it does is it exchange the magic system with a deep alchemy system, where you collect various ingredients, experiment with your own different brewed potions, and those concoctions can be used not only to affect your character, but also to interact directly with the environment in a variety of different ways, giving players a fun system to experiment with that actually has a real visceral impact on the way that you play. And they're also expanding the types of systems that people loved from Dark Messiah, the environmental physics, and the way that you can use the world around you as a weapon to fight your enemies. And Alkahest isn't a direct copy of the moment-to-moment structure of Dark Messiah. They're trying to lean a little bit more towards the immersive sim part of the scale, allowing you to explore a bit more instead of being locked onto linear paths. You can even do a bit more stealth if that's what you'd like to do. From everything that I've seen, Alkahest looks like the direction you might have expected sequels of Dark Messiah to go, and as such, it has the modern quality of life that you would expect. It has dynamic animations for when you take different actions. There are even parts of the game that looks kind of like it's straight out of a Jackie Chan movie, letting you utilize different random objects in the environment to take on enemies, like the shovel that the character picks up in the trailer. My personal hope for Alkahest is that it hits all of the gameplay points that people are wanting for a game like this, and I'm not so worried about the production side of things. There have been a few signs in the trailers that keep it pretty solidly in the AA section of gaming, which I don't see as a bad thing. There are a lot of expectations that AAA developers let themselves be trapped into, and AA developers can sidestep that to really create some interesting games. You have to be willing to accept a little bit of jankiness here and there when it comes to production values, and possibly a few bugs at the beginning. I think people overanalyze too much when it comes to things like bugs. If it isn't completely breaking the game or detracting significantly from their enjoyment, I don't really care if the physics launches an enemy 100 feet into the air. It's just kind of funny. I would expect some things, some minor things like that. Some of the newer trailers also show off the movement in the game, and it reminds me a bit of Dying Light, so maybe we'll get to do a bit of parkour action as well. They put out a bit of a thing recently that talks about the things that they're focusing on. In a section about key highlights, it mentions exploration and traversal-focused gameplay, environmental interaction and mechanical puzzles, unlocking new paths through observation and experimentation, stealth, and dynamic first-person traversal through vertical environments. So what all of that means is those are the things that they're really focused on as new features for the game, which again suggests to me that they're looking to expand things away from the linear Dark Messiah style and more towards some open exploration. Maybe not open world, but giving you different possible paths to take to get to the same destinations. And verticality. Exactly how vertical we're talking, not completely clear. There's a pretty broad spectrum when it comes to verticality in games, but either way, it should be fun to test out whenever it comes out, which unfortunately looks to be still a ways away. There's no clear release date on the Steam page. What they have said is that the game will be releasing on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, so we at least know the platforms. I'm curious to hear what other people think about Alkahest. Do you think it could be the next game to make real waves like Dark Messiah, or do you prefer the look of something like Fate Keeper, which occupies a similar space? Let me know in the comments, and for more videos about RPGs of all kinds, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.